So sometimes when you're out exploring like the bushes or an industrial kind of area near some factories, or a combination of the two, train tracks. I'm actually on some old train tracks right now. When you're exploring these kinds of places, sometimes you come across what appears to be like a camp or a little bit of a homeless person's place out in the bushes. It's very different than the homeless people that live on the sidewalk, you know, right in the city and everything, you know, because you're out in the bushes now, and like they can actually have space, and as long as they're well hidden, they can build their own kind of thing, and you never really know what you're going to come across. Oh, there's money. I'm going to grab that. Anyway, I'm going to show you what I mean. That was the one example of a homeless person kind of home out in the bush. I know that that spot's been there for maybe the last 2-3 years, but I've always seen it all torn down and people not currently living in it. I think maybe they live there in the summer and then they do something else in the colder season. But I didn't want to stick around and talk while I was outside their home, because it's obviously a little sketchy to talk to and or, you know, whatever, just interact with somebody that's potentially on drugs or has severe mental problems or whatever, just out in the middle of the bush. It's a different story on the street where there's lots of people and all that stuff, but out here in the bushes it's a little bit different. So anyway, that's that right there is a good example of what I'm talking about when you're walking through the bushes and you find essentially a spot where somebody has set up camp and are now living. I find that frequently in these kinds of areas, you know, along train tracks and near highways and near factories and in the bushes and all that kind of stuff. All the spots I like to normally explore. And so today's video is going to be a series of 32 shorter videos made by a guy named Michael Fielding, who 2 to 5 years ago was in the process of creating what he called a free academy, which was, as far as I can understand, an idea of living free, you know, off the land or whatever, not paying rent to the government, or, you know, kind of like van life, right? I'm paying insurance though, but anyway. So it's an idea that kind of ties in with this channel. I've been trying for a few years now to find him on any sort of social media, Michael Fielding. Can't find him, can't seem to get a hold of him anywhere. I think he's really like-minded and we have a lot in common. I'd really like to, you know, meet up with him, hang out with him, talk to him, whatever. And but yeah, nothing's been uploaded to his channels for the last 2 years. And the series of videos that I'm gonna show off today are about 2 to 5 years old. They have not very many views. Two things. One, I'm hoping to just share his story, information, and ideas of how to live for free, basically, without rent. And then also at the same time, if he ever catches ear that I've copied his videos and posted them on my YouTube, maybe that will be the perfect way for me to finally talk to him and we could arrange something. So yeah, it's a long video. It's like going to be 2 hours long. I didn't want to make a multiple series part kind of video thing out of Michael's videos. So I also compiled it for myself. Like I've gone back and watched the videos maybe 3 times or so each. He's also got lots of other videos like book reviews and living on a sailboat videos and some other random videos. And I just found if I just took all his videos where he's living in the bushes in Texas and edited it into one big video, it would make watching it a lot easier for myself. So I'm going to do it for myself, and then, you know, hopefully you guys will watch it. Hopefully you guys will like it. You can go to his channel, which is Sailboat Diaries, you know, subscribe. Yeah, really interesting guy. Really interesting ideas on how to live life from him. So here's the compilation of videos. I'm going to leave little timers so you can skip to each of his individual videos. Gonna go dumpster diving here today, I think, because it's finally warmed back up out a little bit. And then I will have my own good quality videos ready to go next week, hopefully. Alrighty, see you later.
What's up, guys? I wanted to give y'all a peek around my new home. So I'm sitting in my tent here. Here's my back window. And then my front door, it's just mosquito net. Here's some of my blood. Let's see, got my shelf over there. So we're on the trampoline. It's pretty comfy. We kind of slide downhill a bit. There's 3 mosquito nets out there sewn together for a little living room space. Tried to dye it with some coffee to make it brown for like camouflage, but it's still pretty white. Let's see. Take y'all down to down here. Got a creek and a toilet and a shovel. So just kind of bury it, and that's the solution so far. And I just hung this pulley today that I'm gonna use for a bucket with a hose connector, just like on Little Inagua, to get some water pressure. So I looped that branch up there and got a pulley hung on it, and then these ropes. And then my idea is to use a kettle to boil water and pour it into a 5-gallon bucket that I'm gonna pull up there, and then we'll have hot water like 20 feet high. That should give us decent pressure, I imagine. So I'm gonna give this talk at the Jenner house tonight, I think, and it's basically what the book's gonna be about. So I figure I'll do a practice run. So I'm going to call it Life in the Woods, an experiment in land use, comfort, and security. And I want to talk about how this is primarily an investigation into ethical land use. And I wanted to explore the fuzzy edges around property and ethics. So I've always been skeptical of our title system, especially since there's a monopoly on the courts. We don't really know if that's the most effective way of determining whether someone should be able to use land or not, because there's not a free market. So given that the market is being totally manipulated, I think we need to explore the fuzzy borders of that market, which for me means unused land where people just seem to have abandoned it or just aren't planning on using it for a long time, like this 34-acre chunk of land south of the University of Houston that I'm now occupying. So I had to put my skepticism to the test. It doesn't mean anything to say I'm skeptical of the monopoly of government courts if I'm not willing to act based on those beliefs. So that's why I felt like I needed to move out here and see what it was like for myself to live on unused land without asking permission or without buying it, and see what the risks are, to see what comforts I was missing and how I could possibly satisfy them, and to just to see what happened. It's an experiment. So I've been out here like 30 days now. Our first night was October 8th, but we haven't stayed every night out here. We've kind of moved around some, but probably like 25-30 days now. And so I can tell you a little bit about the experience so far. The worst part is definitely the mosquitoes. That's why we got all the mosquito nets. Yeah, they they suck. But now we've got pretty good solution. I mean, once we hop in the tent and kill any couple that follow us in are pretty safe, and having fires kind of helps, I think, drive them away with the smoke. And we just set this 3-person up. It still needs a little bit of work, but it's not too bad, and it's getting colder, so that should kill a lot of them off. I guess the second worst part is that the weather varies, and we needed protection from like mud and rain and hot and cold. So that's why I set up the trampoline. Was when we first started, it was really hot and muddy, so I wanted to be off the ground and out of the bugs and out of the mud. And the trampoline really sheds a lot of heat because you got airflow below you and above you, so that was great when it was hot. But now that it's getting cold, it's kind of I don't know, we just need more insulation. Basically, we've been layering up every night and just using blankets. And for the rain, we got these tarps set up, like 4 of them. So there's a brown one that sheds off onto 2 camos, and then this green one over our shelf. And we still have one more brown one. I'm not sure where I'm going to put it yet, or might keep it for traveling. We got a shelving unit out there. It's just like plastic, $15 at Lowe's or something. That's super handy. And we have another one that we're about to set up too. And then plastic bins, keep everything dry and out of the bugs. For a while we were using a storage unit, just 1 month, and that helped us make the move from our last place to here. We had to sell a lot of things and just narrow it down to really what we needed. Put a lot of stuff at our parents' house for storage. And I don't know, now it's getting to the point where it's actually comfortable to live out here. At first we were just popping up a tiny little tent on the trampoline, none of these tarps or anything, and it would get real wet in the morning with dew and hot and cold. And at first we really didn't know how secure we were out here, because like our first night in the woods, it's an unknown risk. And I like to differentiate those from high risks. We often confuse them, I think. We have this bias to think unknown situations are riskier than they really are. So that's why we kind of, started slow. We just did 1 night in the woods, and then we, I think, went down to the beach for a couple nights. Then we did another night, and I did a lot of exploring and walking around in here. I only found evidence of 1 other person. There's actually a guy who's been living in here like 6 months or more. I haven't met him yet, but I stumbled across his campsite and left him a note and some beers and told him I was thinking of building a tree house. He said, "All right, MF, see you later." So apparently he's cool with us being here. And other than that, we've only seen a couple people walk by, or like heard them walk by, but it doesn't look like anybody's found our site. Melissa actually left her iPhone sitting out on the trampoline for like 3 days straight while we were in Austin, and nobody stole it. So that was a pretty good test. And we really don't have much expensive stuff out here. We kind of bring our laptops with us when we come in and out. And last night, actually, Melissa's car got her window broken. We parked in a neighborhood across from McGregor Park, but there was nothing in there. They got a camera, and I think that was about it. Like, they left a lot of things, but we had our laptops with us, and there's no money or anything in there. So I don't know. We're parking in a different place now. But other than that, things are going good. Just gonna work on insulating more for winter. Work on this shower setup, and those those are basically all the comforts we need. We're able to cook out here. I got a little stove. And as far as security goes, every day I'm more and more convinced that nobody really knows we're out here, or nobody cares. And I looked up the laws, and we're not even trespassing, because nobody's given us notice to leave. There's been no trespassing signs. There's no fence. There's none of the things to indicate that we're trespassing. And until we receive notice, we can't be prosecuted for criminal trespassing. So until someone tells us to leave, I think we're going to stay out here. save some money, not pay rent, and just have fun living in the woods. All right, I'll see you guys later. Adios. Recording.
Hello.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Wanted to introduce y'all to our forest dog.
It's over here now.
It's over here.
Balto.
Balto! He's so cute. So we found this guy down the main trail on the far end, and somebody's been leaving him here. They made a little shelter for him, a little dog house, but leave him with just food and water like all the time. So I don't know what the deal is, but he's a cutie, and we felt bad about him being all alone, so we take him for walks sometimes and give him some good food. What do you think about him, Melissa?
I love him.
He's a cutie.
He really enjoyed Steph's leftover pork from last night.
Yeah. And he's pretty.
And he's beautiful. A little mangy. That's okay.
That's okay. So maybe we'll give him a bath.
One day.
One day.
When it warms up.
Until then, we'll just pet him and love him. Alright, we'll see you guys later. Hey everybody, I'm Michael Fielding with the Free Academy, and for the past 2 months I've been occupying the woods in Houston, just south of U of H, and I want to show you all a little bit about my setup and some of the progress we've made. So here's our sleeping area. It's a tent sitting on a trampoline with tarps over it, and it's pretty comfy. Gives us lots of airflow during the summer months. Now that it's getting cold, we've been insulating more. We have a foam pad under our blanket and just lots of comforters, and that keeps us warm. Got lots of shelving units to hold our stuff, chairs. Got a table set up over here, a bucket. Eventually gonna have that drain like a sink. We have a shopping cart for our fireplace. That's 3 mosquito nets we've sewn together to spread out into a living room area. And my latest addition, the one I'm most proud of, is our water tower. So that 5-gallon bucket is about 30 feet high. I climbed this tree the other day to set it up there on a pulley. And we have a hose coming down. And here's our spray gun. And we get pretty good water pressure. Let's switch it to jet mode. So, our idea, we set up this shower curtain here with the milk crate to stand on, and you should be able to just spray yourself off right in there like a regular shower. Okay, this is the inaugural shower here. Melissa's got the honors. Ready? Our other solution Melissa came up with the other day is to use one of these 2-gallon sprayers. Also gives a pretty good mist. And so that's going to be our travel shower. And with both of these solutions, we'll be able to heat water over our fireplace and just pour it into the bucket, pour it into the sprayer or the bucket, and then pulley it up and have our hot water with some pressure behind it. So, as you can see, things are getting more comfortable out here. We're really enjoying it. It's just fun to kind of tackle our problems head on. You know, instead of having an issue with our roof or a shower and going to work to earn money to pay somebody else to come fix it, we're just cutting the middleman out and solving our own problems as they hit us. And it helps us learn more in the process, and we can see for ourselves where we can best apply our time to make our living situation more comfortable. So I wanted to talk a little bit more about why exactly I'm out here, why I'm occupying the woods, because I am having a lot of fun, like building my campsite and making my shelter and cooking and like building the shower system and just figuring out all these solutions to life's problems. But the real reason I'm out here is to express my skepticism of the courts and the titles that courts issue and make judgments on. So this land legally belongs to the University of Houston. But what does that really mean, like to legally own something? Well, what it means is that at some point a court, which is just a group of a few people, decided to write on a piece of paper that this person or this entity owns this land, and forever they shall have the exclusive right to use it, or blah blah blah. But why should I believe what these few people wrote down on a piece of paper? Why does a court issuing a title to somebody mean necessarily that it's unethical for me to use it? And that's why I came out here, to see for myself what it was like to break those rules, to put myself in a situation where I'm acting illegally, but I believe ethically still. I've lived out here for 2 months now, and I don't believe anyone has suffered because of it. I don't believe I've hurt anyone's well-being. And I think that's what we need to tie ethics to, is human well-being and human suffering. And maybe the suffering of other creatures as well, but for now I'll focus on humans. So my experiment here is to see if I or if anyone else feels bad because I broke the law and started living on land that someone else legally owned. And I think the answer is no. I don't believe anyone's hurting because of me being out here. So I think there are some deep implications for that, though. It's not just that every now and then a kid can get away with camping on someone else's land for a while. If we can really doubt the legitimacy of the courts and the rulings that they dictate, then we can radically change the way people live. This is significant because it's proving that we don't have to obey the title system. We can go out and find the unused land, not unowned, unused, and use it for ourselves, reclaim these spaces that people have forgotten about, or they just think they'll have it forever because that's the way courts work. Well, courts don't matter. What we do matters. So that's why I'm optimistic that what I'm doing out here could be significant. It could inspire others to go out, reclaim unused spaces, and change the way the world works. That's the dream, at least. So let me know what you think. See you guys later. Alright, this is our inaugural hot shower. Just warmed up about 1.5 gallons of water. Throw it in the old bucket.
Maybe you should lower that bucket.
It comes down as you weigh it down.
Oh, I see. Looks very hot.
Okay. Yeah, it's almost boiling. Put the water down low. It's going to be cool through the hose. So probably going to have the same situation like a normal house where the first water to come out is cold. We'll test it. So reel it on up. Cold for now.
You gonna take off your clothes?
Mm-hmm. Once it gets the hot water. Oh, it's getting warm.
Yay.
Yeah. Alright, I'll hop in here. Feels pretty good. Well, that's the hot shower for you. See you guys later. Oh, yeah. This is our back door. There's U of H. This is my new favorite tree. Gives us a pretty good view of the bayou. Over to U of H over there. And I'm thinking of building a tree house between this one and that pine right there. Probably just like a little rope bridge and maybe like a hanging bench or something. But yeah, you can't beat this view. See if I can go a little bit higher. This is the inside of our forest. Alright, see ya. Alright, I'm just cooking some coffee water there, but I wanted to show you all my new setup. I've raised the trampoline up to be about 8 feet tall by adding these extensions into the frame, and my idea there is to have both a hot weather and a cold weather spot. So I was thinking if it gets hot, we can go up there and sleep on the trampoline, and we'll have mosquito nets up there eventually, and that should allow us to shed lots of heat. And then when it's cold, like it was last night, we'll sleep down on the ground, and I'm eventually going to build walls all around this thing, and that should give us plenty of protection from rain and cold. So you can see we've got a double mosquito net set up here, one for like a little living room area, and then another one around the bed for extra protection. But it's getting pretty nice out here, and I'm pretty happy with the way things are coming. Actually, I had quite a few people asking if they can join me now, so maybe we'll get somebody else out here soon. But I wanted to talk more about why I think occupying the woods could be a great kind of general protest. So I've talked about why I'm out here, and that's because of my skepticism of the courts and the title system. I'm just not convinced that a piece of paper that says the word title on it really gives someone exclusive permission to use land, or permission. What does permission even mean? It doesn't mean it's unethical for me to use it. And after being out here like 2.5 months now, I can tell you with certainty that no one else is suffering because I'm here. No one even knows except our neighbor Doug, who's lived out here for 3 years. So definitely has convinced me that my skepticism was right, and that we have to doubt the judgments of courts, and we have to doubt the pieces of paper they send out. And we can't let fear of authority drive us into doing things that make no sense. But for other people, maybe that's not such a big concern. Maybe they have other things that they want to protest in their lives, like I don't know, patriarchy, or race relations, or the war on drugs, or any of the number of things that are available for protest in this world. I think one of the best ways to take a stand without elevating your oppressors is to disconnect yourself from the system. Go out and do things on your own. Live the way you want to live. Be an example for others of how you want the world to be, and have fun in the process. It's really not that hard living out here. It's a little bit uncomfortable, but you can take care of those problems as you go. Like, you've seen our shower system, you've seen how we've gotten more comfortable with our bed set up, making coffee right now. It's not that hard to live out here, and I think it'd be a cool way for especially people of my generation to rebel in a safe way and also have fun. So I guess that's it. I'm gonna get back to making my coffee, and I'll talk to you guys later. Alright, see ya. Well, I just walked out of the forest to post that last video, and I saw 2 guys on the road. Looked like they were waiting for me with like red clipboards. I don't know, maybe I got paranoid, but I dashed off into the forest and made my way back to camp. And I think we're going to go ahead and abandon this forest and go to our second site. And I'm not going to tell everybody where that one is. So, thought this was a good opportunity to go ahead and talk about kind of the guerrilla tactics here, and realizing that it's not the individual piece of land that you occupy that matters, just the fact that you're living outside the title system. So it's a really good idea to have several spots in mind and be ready to go. And I'll show y'all what I decided to bring here. Got our travel shower, that's the sprayer over there on the right. That camping bag is just filled with sheets and clothes and some food for a few days. And got my camping cot, folds down real small. Got it for $9 at the thrift store. And there's a tiny tent, I have to sleep sideways in it. And backpack, laptop, some more clothes, some molasses for my yogurt, toothbrush, toothpaste. But the cool thing is, we haven't really invested in anything too expensive out here, so we'll be able to redesign this entire campsite. Like, I'm not going to take the trampoline out of here. I'll just buy another trampoline and put it together at the next site. People give away trampolines sometimes, so now that I know how to do it, it's not these individual tools that I'm using that matter. It's the design that's in my head that I carry with me that matters. And that's what I've learned for the last couple months, and that's what I'll be able to apply going forward throughout my life to live frugally and comfortably and have fun. So I don't feel like I'm losing too much by abandoning this site. Alright, see you guys later. What's up, everybody? I just want to show y'all our latest setup here. It's getting pretty nice, I feel like. So, got the whole trampoline tarped in there, and tarps up top. So this is like our foyer entryway thing. Cooked some eggs on our charcoal this morning. And then you come in here. It's a little messy because just had guests over, but we got chairs around our cot as our coffee table. More chairs, shelves. And then you come out our back door, and up here is our loft sleeping area. So yeah, we're staying pretty comfortable, staying pretty dry. Melissa's calling me, so I'll see you guys later.
It's so cold, it feels wet.
Wait, let go. What are you doing?
Cooking some sausage. Mm-hmm.
Said warn me next time.
Well, then it's not candid.
It's still not candid. I see a flashing red light.
Yeah, but you can pretend you don't know what's going on. So we're cooking some sausage, cleaning up the place. I think we got it looking pretty nice. Still working on getting everything off this cot, and then that'll be our coffee table. But we got all these crates that scoot under. This whole shelving unit, that whole shelving unit. Oh, we just got this pretty sweet light. I think it's gonna be pretty bright at night. Just hanging from the trampoline. Take you upstairs. Got that bunch of blankets and stuff sealed in this waterproof mattress case thing, and then the mosquito net around the tent. It's a little chilly last night, but with enough layers, we stayed pretty warm. Take you around front here. So here's the setup, the tarps all around the trampoline, big ones as a roof on top. Just about to do our dishes over here. Collected a bunch of rainwater, and here's how we pump it. Get pretty good water pressure from this thing. Just spray everything down like that. But yeah, going good. We're about to have a New Year's party out here, or New Year's Eve day party. So anyone who wants to come out and see it for themselves is welcome. Talk to you guys later. Adios. Second major part of this experiment was comfort. And Melissa could tell you as well as I can that it wasn't always comfortable out here. We pretty much dealt with the whole range of weather during our stay here, from hot and humid to cold and rainy. I guess that's not the full range. We did get some dryness in there too, but we also had to deal with mosquitoes and just temperature swings, because there were plenty of times where it was warm going to bed and then cold in the middle of the night. So but that wasn't so different for me from the sailboat. But I kind of enjoy, being in touch with nature and like feeling like I'm actually living on Earth rather than this artificial environment, like spaceship constructed to protect you from the real world. Well, the real world isn't so hard. You can deal with it pretty easily. Yeah, it's hot sometimes, it's cold sometimes, but you can use clothes for that, and some variation in your body temperature isn't going to hurt you that bad. And it's just more fun. You get more in tune with the moment. It's almost like constant meditation, or easier meditation, to just be present in nature and feel the earth around you. I don't know, maybe that's hippie talk, but that's how I feel. And I'm not gonna live in a house just because people judge me for not. I'm gonna live where I want to live, and nature is more fun for me. So I will suffer the minor discomforts for this incredible feeling of awe I get of just looking around and seeing trees all the time and hearing the rain drop on my tarp and through the trees. I don't know, I love it. So I guess the conclusion is I was okay with the discomforts out here, and it wasn't too hard to build a structure and a lifestyle that gave me decent comfort. We have showers out here. I showered yesterday. It wasn't too bad. The bathroom situation, we use toilet paper, so it's not hard. With our sprayer, we even get an actual little bidet thing going, so it might be cleaner than most of your restroom facilities. But anyways, I guess the third part of the experiment was security. And for 3 months now, we've lived out here without getting anything stolen and without any harassment. So that's better than anyone living in a regular house, because we're not paying anybody for protection services, a protection racket. Nobody's gonna kick us out if we don't have a rent check or a property tax sent in on the right time, or a mortgage payment. Like, this land, I feel like, is more mine than almost everyone out there with a title to anything, because as long as you're paying somebody to not steal it, it's not really yours. That's what I call renting. So even all those people who own outright, so to speak, their own house or property, you're still paying a tax to somebody, which means ultimately you're renting it from the government. Whereas me, I'm living in an autonomous zone. I'm not in the United States. They're not taxing me. They're not threatening to kidnap me for not paying something, because they don't know I'm here. It's the best way to be free, is to stay hidden. You don't have to proclaim it to the United Nations to be an independent nation. You just need a like-minded group of individuals who believe they're free. And it's as simple as that. So I look forward to talking more with all of you as we make this transition up to Austin, and see if anybody wants to join in. It's gonna be a lot of fun. All right, see you guys. What's up, everybody? It's Michael Fielding with the Free Academy. Today is January 2nd, 2015, about 7 p.m. and it's raining and it's kind of cold and misty. But I've just been thinking how this is exactly what I've always wanted. Like, this is how I want to live. I want to live on my own piece of land where I'm completely free, not paying anybody anything. I'm not being subservient to anyone. Nobody controls me. Total autonomy. And it just took me this long to kind of work up the courage to do it, to stand up for myself. When I was younger, I thought I had to sail away to a uninhabited island, because that's where I would be free. That's where nobody could control me. But now I realize you can do it anywhere. I can do it in the heart of Houston. I can go anywhere I want and set up my own autonomous zone and be completely free. So I'm excited for the rest of my life of freedom. See you guys later. Morning, everybody. So looks like our time here in Houston is coming to an end. I know I said we were leaving once before, but now I think we really will go up to Austin. Got another friend, Jared, who's came to here twice already, actually, and his girlfriend Linda, who are really excited about building our own autonomous zone in Austin's Greenbelt. And I thought this would be a good time to share the news with everyone and see if anyone wants to join in. I really do think Austin might be a better spot for building a real kind of community out here. This Houston one worked for me and Melissa for a variety of personal reasons, but Austin definitely seems like Well, first off, the greenbelt is way bigger. This is only 34 acres. Austin's greenbelt is like 1,000 or more acres, so much easier to hide, a lot more good spots to build campsites. And there's already a more I guess like-minded community up there, a lot more naturalists. I don't know if there's as many anarchists, but I'm sure we'll sniff them out. And I guess it doesn't even have to be about anarchy. It's really about autonomy, personal freedom, rather than trying to figure out what society as a whole should do. But I wanted to kind of take this opportunity to recap some of the lessons I've learned out here, because from the beginning this was an experiment. I was focusing on three main things: comfort, security, and ethical land use. So I guess I'll start with ethical land use. I've come to realize that ethics has to be grounded in human suffering and human well-being, not in these abstract laws and dogma given to us by, well, other humans really, but either governments or religions. But if we're going to behave responsibly on this earth, we have to think for ourselves. We have to come up with our own morals. And I think you have to put yourself in situations where you can really test whether or not you feel bad about doing something and whether or not you see anybody else suffering as a result of your actions. And think long and hard, because there are unintended consequences for every action. But in general, I think the best policy with land is to go look at some land, see if you can tell if anybody's using it, and if they're not, then you can. Like, that's how it works here on Earth. That's how all the other animals do it. Governments and religions have come along with dogmas that... Hey everybody, I'm Michael Fielding with the Free Academy. We're a group of students / teachers with the privilege of studying life and liberty outside the confines of state accreditation. And my latest art project, for the last 3 months, I've been occupying the woods here in Houston. And I just wanted to use this opportunity to give y'all a little tour and share some of my ideas on ethical land use. Let's start with my art board. This is an autonomous zone outside the judicial authority of the US government. So keep that in mind as I share my story, and try not to judge me based on the laws of the land, so to speak, but on the morals in your own heart. And we'll decide together whether or not what I've done here is ethical. With that in mind, let me give you the tour. Here's our downstairs living room. I've got it tarped all the way around. We usually shut those down to keep the wind out, but got it open for some light. We've got storage galore, bins and shelves, crates, hanging things, tons of room for all our food and clothes and whatever other supplies we have. We actually have room for 2 to sleep down here. We have this cot, and this is my hammock. I can fold it down in about a minute and it'll just hang right about here in case anybody else wants to spend the night. I'll show y'all where me and Melissa sleep. Upstairs bedroom, and I recently folded this over for wind protection, but we've got a tent set up with mosquito nets surrounding it and tons of blankets, and that keeps us pretty warm. Got the tarps all the way around now, so there's really not much airflow. You stay pretty protected, and especially if we layer up, we pretty comfortable at night. And our friend Kevin recently moved in. He's been sleeping out here for the past 4 days now. I'll take y'all over to his spot. He has a hammock set up under a tarp, so he's got rain and wind protection, and he just added yesterday tarps on the front and back to give him extra wind protection. So he says he's staying pretty warm. Obviously still have to put on a bunch of layers at night, but I've learned with enough layers you can keep any cold out. So this is his spot. Got all this stuff on the tarp down there and the hammock. He says he's been pretty comfortable. Wanted to talk a little bit about security out here. People always ask us, like, how are we keeping our things safe? And the real answer is we're staying hidden. It's not like a house in the suburbs where you're basically raising up a flag that says, hey, there's a bunch of stuff here. We're staying out of sight, and people don't usually go exploring in the woods for things to steal. So I think that keeps us pretty safe. And beyond that, we carry tasers and pepper spray. But so far, we haven't seen anybody out here. Just some people on the edge of the forest, but I don't think they were related to us. And I guess another thing I really need to talk about is the ethics of the land use here. Why exactly do I think it's okay to come and set up a house on land that I didn't buy, and I'm not renting it, and I didn't make an agreement with anybody? And the answer is, I came out here and looked at it, and I was able to determine for myself that nobody was going to suffer as a result of me living on it. And I did this in a kind of exploratory, slow escalating practice. So first I just came and rode my bike across the land, then did a little bit more thorough investigation, then I did a night camping here, and then slowly we spent more time out here and brought more stuff and started living here for longer and longer periods of our life, until now it's pretty much every night we're out here unless there's something else to do. But it's been a lot of fun to really investigate firsthand this kind of radical ethical stance about property use, because it is outside of what we are taught growing up, that some entity has the judicial authority to rule objectively on whether or not an individual can use land. And what I'm saying is, it's not up to some external authority. It's up to you. You have to decide for yourself whether or not it's okay to inhabit a piece of land, do any kind of action in your life. And that's what freedom's all about. Thinking long and hard about ethical problems and coming up with your own solutions. So that's what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to encourage everybody to think more for themselves and stop trusting authority figures. Be skeptical, and that's it. I'll see you guys later. little shower room, huh? Curtain. Open up. Shut it. Water hangs right there. Hey everybody, I'm Michael Fielding with the Free Academy. We're studying and sharing our ideas on how to live a more free life. And I've been living out in the woods for 4 months now, expressing my skepticism of the court monopoly. And I wanted to give you all an update, a little tour of my house, because we've come a long way. So here's our little dishwashing station now. I rolled this log halfway across this forest and mounted this table on it, and just made dishwashing a lot easier. Our house continues to grow and get reshaped. We recently added this wood floor here, making things a lot nicer. And I built this bench the other day with 2 cuts and 6 nails, and definitely helping us better use this space. Strung up this hammock and made this kind of hanging crate pantry, and just been utilizing the space a little bit better. I keep finding crates all day, so keep adding those to this place. And I'll show y'all upstairs. We've been bringing in a lot of wood, construction materials, more than we know what to do with so far, but it's fun to have it on hand for a construction project. Here's the upstairs bedroom. We got a mattress a few days ago, or a mattress pad, and that's really helping things a lot. Definitely makes it more comfortable. And mosquito net strung up there. I'll take y'all to Kevin's place. His is looking pretty cool. Oh, here's our mailbox, number 8 for some reason. Kind of tiny. Kevin's hut also come a long way. Got ourselves a little trail, and it's got his little bed and chair and a little spot for everything. Cleaned it up the other day, and we got more materials. Donation from our friend's mom of trampoline parts and this cool storage locker and a nice little toolbox carrying case. So one thing I've kind of learned being out here is it's better to just wait until you find something than to buy stuff usually, because well, first off, there's tons of stuff to be found, and it's easier to think about what you want to build once you have the supplies on hand, rather than thinking of what you want to build and then going out and buying the supplies for it. So that's been a kind of change in my thinking. I'm not sure if we had this last video. I dragged Rebel's doghouse all the way across the forest. I went over there with the intention of taking it apart to use the plywood, but it was really hard to take apart, so I thought to myself, well, why don't I just take it as a unit? And I think I'm gonna try to clean it up and build a dining room table hall around it, because it'd make a really nice table, and storage on the inside. And then I was thinking of making a wall with plastic and glass bottles embedded in it for letting light in. And over here, I don't think too much has changed. We still have the shower stall, the hose going up to the water tower, and shopping cart for campfires. So things are going well out here. 4 months. It's been pretty fun, and I encourage anyone interested to seek out some unused places and set up a campsite. You don't have to stay there every night like I do, but it's kind of fun to just build a place off the grid and explore freedom on your own, rather than, I don't know, reading about it or something. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. See ya. What's up, everybody? I'm Michael Fielding with the Free Academy and living out in the forest, occupying the woods to express my skepticism of the court's preferred property paradigm. But anyways, this morning I was exploring and found this old bed that I'm now excavating, and I really think people have been living out here for a long time. And seems like the older stuff I find is more established. Like I found piles of brick. Clearly they had an aluminum roof over this thing. I don't know if you can really tell it's a bed yet, but it goes on down there. So I'm trying to get the frame up in one piece. Oh, I actually figured out this tree grew over the bed frame. So I'm gonna have to saw that to get through it. So it's clearly been out here a while, but just one of the interesting things I find occupying the woods. See you guys later. Here's what it looks like after I pulled it up. And this is like got springs and some kind of wire mesh, but that's deep in there, so I'm not gonna worry about that part. But I figure I can wash this up and turn it into either a table or a couch or a bench or something pretty cool. It's a sturdy frame, and if I've learned anything, location, this is right here next to my camp, so I don't have to carry it in. So that's a lot better than a clean couch that's far away. All right, I'll see you guys later. So here's the little garden I planted yesterday. Put down carrots, cilantro, corn, watermelon, squash, and sunflowers. Not all right here, a couple other scattered spots, but I wanted to show y'all the abandoned camp I found out over here, which is really exciting for me because even though it's trashed now, clearly this guy was living out here for a long time, and it's really encouraging for me to see people living off the grid, existing outside of the title system, living on unused land without renting permission from the government. And if you come down here, this guy actually had like a little bunker. Like I said, it's super trashed now, but I imagine at one point it was very organized, and this guy was clearly out here for years. I found receipts going back for, let me think, I think the earliest one I saw was 96, and the latest one I saw was 2011, so at least 5 years, but maybe more. This guy was living outside the nation state, so just want to share that with you guys, and I'll link to some more videos after this. What's up, everybody? I'm Michael Fielding with the Free Academy, living outside the title system in an autonomous zone here in Austin, Texas. Perched on the top of this tree, watching the sun come up, and it is beautiful out here. Just wanted to share the picture with all you guys. Sitting here in this tree with purple flowers, way above the ground. But I'm hoping to build a little tree house in this tree with Jared and have a viewing platform where we can come up and look at how feel like it. All right, talk to you guys later. What you doing there, Jared?
I am collecting roly-polies, and we're gonna boil them and eat them. We looked it up. They're actually pretty interesting. So they're not bugs, they're crustaceans. They're related to shrimp and lobster. They can live up to 5 years, which surprised the heck out of me. And anyway, Michael ate one alive, and it was tasted like dirt. And I looked online, and it said boiling them is the best way to cook them. So we're hoping that that gets rid of the dirt taste.
Yeah.
And
so we'll let you know how it goes.
Yeah, we're gonna. Okay, so we boiled them. They boil super quickly, and then we tried them raw, and then the bitterness is gone. They're kind of a blank taste. They do have a crunch to them though, but then we seasoned them with hot sauce and lemon pepper, and they're pretty delicious.
Oh yeah.
So we call this a success.
Yeah.
Avoid every blackberry.
So me and Jared just found the first ripe blackberries of the season out here. I don't know if you guys can tell, but there are like 10,000 blackberries in this area. Every one of those little green balls is a blackberry that's gonna turn black soon. Over there, there's some ripe ones already. There's a red one. Yeah, we've already eaten several. Oh, look at that juicy.
Oh, dibs on the second one.
Juicy. Juicy blackberry. Super good.
Anyway, we're
So
super excited about it. They're so good.
we're gonna make some wine, some jam, and probably just eat a good 1,000 blackberries each. All right, we'll keep you guys posted. See ya. Hey everybody, I'm Michael Fielding with the Free Academy. We're a off-grid university where the students are the teachers and the teachers are the students. And I just wanted to give you all a tour of the place so you can get an idea of what it's like to live off the grid. First, let me just say, this place is gorgeous. I've been having a hard time explaining to people why I'm living more in Austin now, but there's just nothing like this forest that I found in Houston. Anyway, here's my hammock house. It's just for napping during the day usually. I've been mainly sleeping over here in the camp hotel. It's a little bit of a mess, but hopefully y'all won't judge me too hard for that. So this is the little house in here, and it's up on cinder blocks to keep me off the ground. It came with this as a really old Coleman stove. Anyways, using it as my shelving. Me and Jared were playing volleyball and somebody was throwing away this, well, not perfectly good, but just about perfectly good canopy. Found those shopping carts out here and that table. I brought that toilet back from Houston. Personally, I prefer just a squat, but in case we have guests who want a real toilet, brought that out here. Take you over to Jared's house. He's got a mansion. Pretty jealous. He's got a really comfortable house over here, but maybe one day I'll throw out the cash to get something like this. It's huge. You can see he's got his bed over there and chair and stuff. I was sitting in there last night to escape the mosquitoes. This is a cool little concrete trough that obviously we didn't build. It was just out here. We're trying to collect some rainwater in there, eventually get some fishes, and be able to just scoop up fish whenever we get hungry. All right, now I'm gonna take y'all to my latest addition and the one that I think is coolest. Our trampoline. Can't have an autonomous zone without a trampoline. So, this is what freedom's like. Woo! See you guys later. Good morning, everybody. Michael Fielding here with the Free Academy, and today I'm sporting my Jackalope Freedom Festival shirt that's coming up August 1st through 8th in Arizona. Can't wait. But today I wanted to give you all a little practical advice on squatting. So I've been a scout for a while now, where I love just looking at maps and going out in the real world and finding unused places and then putting them to use. It's a super fun game for me and saves a ton of money. If you can even get away with it for like a month or two, not paying rent for a month or two, that's huge. It's like a used car. So I'm just going to show you all how I do it. Okay, I like to use these 4 different mapping tools really to help me understand an area I'm going to look at. So first off, regular Google Maps. Then I use the Railroad Commissioner's Public GIS Viewer, which gives you all the information on pipelines and wells and whether they're active or inactive. Then I use my county's Appraisal District Parcel Viewer. That gives me the information on who actually owns the land legally, which can help you understand who might get pissed off if you're trespassing. And then I use my county's flood mapping tool, because you definitely don't want to squat where it's going to flood. So I'll take you through kind of what I would do if I'm about to go explore a spot, and then I'm actually going to go explore. So you get to see the whole process start to finish. So I've already I'm cheating a little bit. I've already looked at this one over here near Cypress Wood. But basically the way I found it, there's this big green section over here. So I was like, that's interesting. And then I saw that there's this creek, which is always cool. Sandy looking. And at one point I did a measurement tool. I like to do that too. And I found that this chunk right here is like 1,600 acres, which is huge. So then I wanted to know, is it going to flood though? Because it's next to a creek. Sometimes creeks flood. So go over here to the Harris County flood mapping tool. Find the same spot. Let's see if I can zoom in here. Oh, I got to turn it on aerial. I can't do this road stuff. Alright, and here's Cypress Wood. Here's the area I was just looking at. So, good to know it does flood next to that creek, but it only extends, say, a quarter into this forest. So if we were to build somewhere in the front here, closer to Cypress Wood Drive, probably be alright. Okay, now let's figure out who owns it, legally, if that matters to you. It does matter sometimes because it helps you understand, like I said, who's gonna get pissed at you. Okay, we're zoomed in here and we can see who legally owns this different land. So you just click on the green area, and so that chunk, weird shaped chunk, owned by County of Harris, appraised for $0. Let's see, right next to it, Tranquil Springs Limited. County of Harris. County of Harris. Wildlife Heritage Foundation of Texas. 1992 Penominee Credit Shelter Trust. So as you can see, these are all just bullshit made up legal entities. Okay, so now that we know there's not actually any human beings who would be bothered by us being there, it's only these Santa Claus-like entities that exist only on paper. They're not real bodies that can possibly suffer. We can go over here to the Railroad Commissioner's page and see if there's any pipelines or wells or anything we might have to worry about some oil guy coming out and seeing us. Looks pretty clear though. This is a pipeline, I believe. Let's see, pipeline's on. Oh no, pipelines aren't on. That's just a border. Oh, there's a pipeline, that green one. Nothing in this big old chunk. There's a dry hole right there. Let's see. Oh, here's a little thing. Another dry hole. But basically this whole area is pretty clear. There's a dry hole. So these are little circles I'm scrolling over, and it'll tell you whether it's dry, whether it's in use, what's going on, so you know whether to expect an oil company to come check on it again or not. But all in all, this area is very prime real estate from a squatter's perspective. There's very little going on. It's a big mix mash of fake people who own it. Fake persons, excuse me. And so now it's time to go see what it looks like in person. Just taking off to go exploring here, but I had this thought about how this truck makes squatting so much easier. I can collect enough free materials to build a house in like a few days, a tiny house, but I've done squatting from a sailboat, and I've done it on foot and on bike, and a truck is just so easy. So you can get a used one pretty cheap. It's definitely a great investment if you're going to be building off the grid. Still driving along, and I just had a thought. If I'm obeying all the laws, then I'm not free. I'm not doing what I want. But if I'm breaking the law, I don't want to live somewhere where the government knows where I live. So really the only way to be free is to squat. still on this drive and just thinking more about the Jenner Ranch and what I'm doing now, and I'm really interested more in finding my own squat spot, not so much forming a commune anymore. You know, I'd rather have, you know, a dozen friends who are all squatting and we all have our own spots and we invite each other over for dinner and whatever to hang out, and they're all backup locations, and maybe we help each other garden, we help each other raise our houses and barns or whatever. But I like having my own space, and I don't necessarily want to have to coordinate all my activities with anybody else, and that's a restriction on me. So that's why I think these days I'm definitely more interested in just finding my own location. Okay, we're getting close now, and you can see the forest. That'd be a nice road to gain access to right there. It's a water treatment road. It's a thick forest, and it goes deep. Very beautiful woods. I would love a treehouse in there. Okay, here's that pipeline that we saw from above. So this is the front of the forest. Could possibly gain access to that pipeline route, but it might get muddy sometimes. Here's that neighborhood we saw from above, so I'm actually gonna go in here to try to park. Sorry about that. And neighborhoods are great because they provide cover for your vehicle, and it's legal to park on the street. So I'm just gonna find a spot close to a dead end near the forest and walk on in. No outlet sign up ahead, so I decided this is a good spot to park. Not really in front of this driveway, and then I could be in front of either of those, so kind of blends right in. Now I'm gonna walk up there and start trespassing. Okay, here we are. So good idea to get out of sight pretty quickly. That way, just don't have to talk to anybody, which is nice. And start seeing what we see. So already clear, somebody drives a car over here sometimes. There's a fence there, but we could easily form our own gate through it. Somebody's been cutting trees down over here. Barking dog, always good to note. Okay, I'm trying the other direction. So no cars down this path, but people walk it. There's an opening to that house. I wouldn't be surprised if we found somebody already squatting out here. Okay, we're coming up to the end of the fence. You can see there is a couple chairs. Tarp. Look, abandoned squat spot. Let's go into the woods. Or you know what? I want to follow this trail. Pretty well carved here, so people walk it somewhat frequently. A ton of mosquitoes. That's why I'm walking fast. It keeps the mosquitoes away. Somebody's canopy. We're under a power line, so definitely, you know, power people could come occasionally if you're under a power line or near one, but not in there. See, what you really want though is a place where you can drive a truck out into the middle of the woods, where the tracks are kind of covered. You don't want to like draw attention to your route. But because it's hard to carry things very far into the woods on your back. That's how I did it originally. Ooh, look, blueberries. When me and Melissa were first squatting in the woods next to U of H, we would do drop-offs and then walk, and we walked like a mile from where we parked, and we go pick up. Oh wow, look at them all. Pick up our stuff and haul it in trips on our backs. Took forever to get that trampoline out there and all the tarps and PVC pipe, and not to mention our groceries. We had to carry it all by hand over a mile. So I'm definitely looking for a place where I can park closer, especially with this truck. The dewberries are so good. Mosquitoes are terrible though. All right, I'm gonna keep moving. Speaking of truck though, these are tire tracks, so certainly you can drive a truck back here sometimes. It's kind of muddy over here. Man, it'd be scary to come in here and get stuck. But look, we're back to a road, so maybe we could do some kind of drop-off situation or just wait till it's really dry. Let's see what road this is, where we are. Oh, okay, we're at the end of that guy's pipeline, and that Cypress would drive up there. Very interesting. Oh, look at this. It's a gate. Is this just a person's house or what? Oh, wow. Okay, so you can drive all over here. Oh, that's just a person's house. See all those tire tracks? People certainly drive. And what is that? Is that another squat spot? Oh, it's just a dump site. Okay, I'm gonna go back in the woods. I saw that from afar. At first I thought it was a car or something, but I'm pretty sure it's an upside down hot tub now. Yep, it's a jacuzzi. And here's clearly a way in. Somebody's been using. So there's where we were. We're a little bit farther down this way. And look at all this free lumber. Looks like somebody had a squat spot over here. Definitely gotta hide it a little better if you want to keep it. But maybe it's just a dump site, I don't know. Gotta keep moving, these mosquitoes are terrible. I caught a glimpse of something down this way. I want to go check it out. Some metal? I don't know what that is. But it's actually really nice to build at a dump site because people keep dropping off free stuff for you to use. It's awesome. And it covers your tracks because if they're dumping here, certainly means it's not that hard to get away with driving a car back here occasionally. Oh, that's some more of that jacuzzi. Just look at how thick this forest is. And this road is perfect. Nobody's out here. So clearly it's not that hard to get out here, but I mean, there's tire tracks, so we're not gonna like stand out. And I can see the woods goes another quarter mile that way and really far that way. So the creek's down there, and man, see, look, it's up an incline, so you won't flood if you're right in the front here. And I'm gonna see where this connects back to a road so I know how to get in here. Okay, definitely good to notice that can't drive down this gas pipeline just anytime. It's gonna get and stay wet, so only during droughts basically, I guess. Okay, we're right here near the front of this gas pipeline connection. I just want to see if, you know, potentially if we can park right there and walk just a little bit in here and build a hut. That would be badass. Don't see any trash yet, so that's a good sign. Nobody else is using it. Lots of pine wood we can burn. It is a little clearer through here, which is good for like mosquitoes and shit, but they're still bad for sure. But I'm thinking of building up there somewhere. Build a nice tree house up on here. Okay, I found a little car path, although, oh, clearly not usable right now. Oh, look, they went over that little berm. I was running because of the mosquitoes. They can't keep up if you move fast. Oh, there's something over there I'm gonna go check out. Look, it's a clearing. Or what is that? It's like a pond or something, I don't know. It's a swamp. Get out of my swamp. All right, well, I'm calling it a day. Got a lot of good experience out here. I think next time I might try to come this way and see if I can move this or chainsaw that up and clear my own path out here. I'm gonna get out in the opening because mosquitoes are bad. Maybe I'll shovel that to make it a little easier for my truck. But look, then we can pull up right there and no problem. Here's another thing I noticed about this land. It's not even trespassing. There's no fence, there's no sign, no notice has been given. So I'm not even breaking any laws out here. All right, I'm walking back the long way just so I don't draw too much attention to that site, and just want to get a better feel for the area too. A few more thoughts before I leave you guys. If you like this video, feel free to subscribe to the channel to see more things like this, and you can go back through my old videos if you want. Lots of squatting stuff in there. And we have a website, freeacad.com, where you could submit your own articles, subscribe for free, and then it's basically a community blog, but kind of geared towards teaching each other ways of being free and learning on a peer level rather than a hierarchical like professor-student relationship. It's all like we're all on the same page, same level, we comment, we give feedback, bounce ideas off each other. And one last thought is on keeping a low profile, which is probably kind of contradictory on a video that I'm posting on the internet, but it really is a good idea not to get too much attention if you want to live a free life. It's just easier if you don't get on the radar of some terrorist organization. So with that in mind, if I ever get too many followers, I'm just gonna like delete all the accounts and lay low for a while. But that's all I got for you. All right, talk to you guys later. See ya. Hey everybody, it's Michael Fielding here with the Conscious Resistance Network, and today I wanted to explore some ideas about squatting and ethical land use. So I've been exploring my region for a while, and what you find is there's a lot of abandoned houses, and I'm pulling up to one now. This is within a mile or two of the place I've been living at the Jenner Ranch, and it's just a abandoned house with several sheds, several cars back here. I've come several times now. I usually just pull right in, start walking around and seeing what I can see. So one of the things to note is whether or not things change. And ever since I've been coming here, there's nothing that's changed that either I didn't do or was just weather. Like that tree branch fell, but I'm pretty sure no human did that. But nothing has moved that would indicate human presence. But this place is awesome. There's this shed, which I've gone through. There's lots of VHS tapes and wood, and I'm thinking about fixing it up, and you know, that could be a livable house. There's all these abandoned cars. Now I guess this has been mowed, so that's interesting to note. So maybe people do use this place. So there you go. I'm gonna go ahead and leave because yeah, the grass has been mowed. So now on to the next spot. All right, we're coming out on this another spot that I've checked out a few times. Super abandoned, I think. But yeah, that's one of the parts of discovering abandoned properties. It's not always clear, and you have to check a few times and keep your eye on things, because it's hard to tell when something is abandoned and when it's just not being used for a while. And that's one thing the legal system does a real bad job of delineating, I think, is it comes natural. Like you saw me in that last video, I could tell like, ooh, somebody's been here, maybe I shouldn't be here, you know. But then there's property like this where, I mean, I've explored several times, and I don't think anybody else comes out here, at least not in like a long time. I always get worried about cars passing and shit, but I don't know, it's worth exploring. I can talk my way out of most encounters. Let's see, like somebody could move straight into here, just fix it up a little bit, and this is like a livable little cottage. You know, it's a horse stable, but still got good weather protection. And for this to go unused, it's really a disservice to all humans, because it forces someone who's willing to live here to seek shelter elsewhere, and that drives up the cost of living for everyone. So the more we use existing shelters, the better we all are. Except people who want property values to stay high for selfish reasons. Okay, anyways, I'm gonna take off from this place, and I'm gonna show you guys the one that's most exciting to me right now. It's just on the street a little bit. Okay, we're coming up on the most exciting squat spot for me at this moment. You can check it out. It's on the end of this street. Once you're off the highway, nobody sees you, and it's super secluded, and nobody lives over here. There's just a business to one side. But nobody lives down this whole cul-de-sac. And the only other thing is a business, and they only come occasionally. So I mean, once you're back here, nobody's gonna notice. So it's super secluded, and I found this abandoned garage port. There's a destroyed house over there, and over here is this abandoned carport thing. And I've already been delivering a lot of materials, because it's a lot easier just to get the materials here, and then we're gonna worry about the actual design and implementation later. But I just try to use every trip for getting whatever I can over here. So it's got aluminum roof, almost perfect condition. There's a hole up there, but I brought some new sheeting already, and this is all wood I brought. The table was already there, and that mattress, I don't want it, but I brought this plywood and pallets and stuff. And right around the corner is a well that I think will work if I plug in an air compressor. Take y'all over there real quick. But I'm not exactly sure until I try, but I've had success with bringing wells back to life before, so I'm excited to try again. I'm thinking I can garden over here. I'll clear out a lot of this, and using kind of properties of permaculture is what I've been thinking about lately. And it's really just kind of lazy gardening. You just kind of attack the easy targets first, and see where the water seems to go already, and see where the healthy soil is, and then turn that into your gardening spots. But yeah, here's this well and cistern. I'm pretty sure if I plug in an air compressor to there, it's gonna pump water in. And then I just need to worry about getting it from there over to the little porticache or whatever. And I really want to work on drip irrigation for my next garden, because I'm so lazy. I'm not good at keeping up with it if I have to pour the water on. But maybe I can set up some kind of just drip system where it's always going, or like I just have to turn a valve every now and then and it'll go. My stuff's doing pretty good though for as little effort as I put in. Watermelon seems to be doing fine still. The asparagus isn't looking too good. Squash and pumpkins and what else is over there? Oh, the green beans, they're looking pretty good. So I don't know, I did okay this year, but I want to do one more plant, and then next year I'm going to come at it hard, hopefully in like 3 different squat spots. That way, if any one of them gets taken over, like the person comes back or whatever, I get kicked out, I'll have a couple others that are like already functioning, already have nice beds and electricity and everything. Because I think diversity really is the ultimate answer to all problems of risk, including where to live. So that's what I'm gonna try. All right, see you guys later. Hey everybody, I'm out here at the new squat spot. We're calling it Twisted Garage, and I just want to show you guys this idea of caching first and building later. So I've brought out tons and tons of stuff already. Lots of pallets. That's the stage from the Jenner house right there, right there. We got that huge billboard screen and threw it over the garage. Here, I'll take y'all in there. And so the concept is get everything here, make an easy path. Good work, Melissa. And build yourself a home. So this building was chilling out here next to a collapsed house, and there were a few holes in the roof. You can see where it's dented there, but I put a new corrugated tin piece over it and put the tarp over. And so the idea is to floor this place, wall it in all the way around, have some doors, maybe put a chimney on because winter's coming, and have ourselves a nice home without any landlord, rent, government, agency telling us what to do, mortgage, property tax. Totally free and clear. So that's what real ownership means to me, is not having to pay anyone or obey anyone. Alright, talk to you guys in a minute. Alright, I'm about to test the well for the first time over here at the Twisted Garage. Just wanted to capture it and see if it works or not. I probably won't, because I think I'm missing one of the parts. I don't know. I brought all these to see if I can get the end of this hose to fit into it. I got the compressor filled, so we should at least be able to hear if water's pumping or not. It's not going to fill up the cistern because don't have electricity, so can't refill the air compressor, but it'll be good enough just to hear if any water gets moving. So it's an airlift well, which is really common around here in East Texas because the water table is so low. And the way it works is you just pump high pressure air down this, and there's a tube that runs down this pipe, and it mixes air with the water down there, which makes the bubbly water less dense than the surrounding water, which makes it squirt up and fills up this tank, hopefully. So, but there's actually a hole down here, so we may end up kind of scrapping this tank and just accessing the water through that pipe, maybe to a different cistern or something. But I'll let you guys know in a second if it works. Here goes nothing. About to attach this to there, and I've already connected the other end to the well, so I'm gonna run over there and see if it works. Go. Definitely leaking. Oh, you hear that? That is water, my friends. Woo! Look, here it comes. Hell yeah. So that means all we got to do is connect a compressor to here, power with solar panels and a battery, something like that, and we'll have some fresh drinking water. Woo-wee! That's exciting. Hey everybody, I'm Michael Fielding with the Free Academy. We're a group of students / teachers with the great privilege to study life and liberty outside of state accreditation, or any law or authority for that matter. And I'm here today working on my next squat spot. It's this garage thing we found out some abandoned property, and so I laid out this old billboard to start killing some of the thorns over there. Way over the over there you can see the collapsed house. It is just falling apart. Nobody's been here for 5-10 years, something like that, and the legal landowners actually signed an affidavit of non-homestead, which means they went in front of a notary and swore that they were not using this and will never be using this land as a homestead. So for me as a squatter, that's basically free permission to come use it, because if you're not using it, I might. So let me show y'all what we've been doing though. Collecting pallets, just all kinds of pieces of wood, and getting them in here, and we're gonna put walls up, a floor, add a sink over here, probably a shower over there. It's definitely coming along, We actually ran into some people out here not too long ago, which kind of threw us for a loop. Not sure what to do after that. The dude claimed that his sister owned the land, but I kind of doubt it. He told Melissa that he was coming out here to try to take apart this building, so I think he was just trying to steal it. But it's hard to know what to do in a situation like that. When you're squatting, you don't know whether to trust the person, you don't know whether they're friend or foe, whether they're going to rat on you or hurt you some other way. And there's no answer to that. You just have to feel it out. After a couple days, we kind of decided to keep working on it and just see how it goes. I'm cool with losing all this stuff anyways. It's really more of a proof of concept and just to demonstrate that you actually can go out and build a home off the grid. So even if we lose it, no biggie. At least we had fun building it. So anyways, if you're working on a squat spot, feel free to comment below and let me know how it's going, any troubles you run into, or any questions or advice I might be able to give. Be happy to help you all learn how to live free in this unfree world. All right, take care. See you guys later. We're working on the next squat spot, Twisted Garage, and putting up walls today. So it's kind of exciting seeing it come together. Finished off that whole wall, and it's all just from scraps. I mean, some of it's plywood, some of it's Jenner stage, some of it's fence planks, just whatever we could get our hands on. And slowly but surely walling it in. We're trying to figure out a window situation over here, and we're gonna have a door there and there. But anyways, it's a really fun project. So let us know if you're making a squat spot and how your project's going. Talk to you later. I'm over here at the Twisted Garage. Can you start over and let me know?
Okay. And go.
We're over here at the Twisted Garage working on the well and trying to get it to work on a 12-volt system. So as I showed in the previous videos, this is an airlift well, and if you put compressed gas down it, water's going to come up and fill up this tank. So we're going to try to run it off solar, so that's why we need to go to DC 12-volt system. So I got this 18 amp hour battery, which is pretty small, but we can always add more later. This is a 12-volt air compressor, and I've been trying to figure out how I'm going to get this bike valve thing to attach to this 1/4 inch pipe valve. But my latest idea is just to cut this old tube. It's got some holes in it anyways, so I was going to cut it here, put it in through here, and just re-screw it down, and hopefully that should seal it enough to let the air go down and bring the water up. So anyways, we'll cut to the next scene where you can see if that... Okay, so I'm cutting this bike tire. I got it down to this little square around the valve, and the idea is for it to go through here, and then we'll be able to attach the air compressor to there. So I think I need to cut it down to that dark ring, but I'm going to leave a little extra because you can always cut more, but you can't cut less. And yeah, I need to take this apart again and try really hard not to lose the parts. Alright, we got it all hooked up, and now I'm going to attach the positive wire to the red side of the battery, flip the switch. Hopefully air's going to go down the pipe and water's going to come up, so we'll know in just a second. I don't hear it leaking. I'm gonna redo this to where I don't have to hold it the whole time. Hey, we can see the pressure is building, which is a good sign, but this may just be too small of a compressor. We may need a compressed air tank in between for this to fill up the tank, and then we can release into the well. But we'll keep it going and see if it works or not. The compressor at the Jenner Ranch generally started pushing water up about 40 psi. So we're right about there. It's taken forever to climb this high, but I think we should know pretty soon here if it's gonna work. Okay, it's kind of looking like that air compressor isn't gonna cut it. It's sitting right at 40 psi, and I don't hear any water coming up, and it doesn't seem to be increasing anymore. But I guess I'm gonna keep letting it run until the battery dies. It'll be a good test of how long the battery lasts. But I wanted to talk about this other idea I just had. So there's the cistern we're gonna pump water into from the well, and then up there is a nice big tree, oops, that's right on the path between the well and the garage. So my new idea is to put a tank up in that tree as high as I can, and then we'll pump water from the well to the tank, and then it's like a water tower, and then we'll have gravity fed water coming down. So even in a power outage, or if we have a few days without sunlight or something like that, we'll still be able to have pressure water running through the house. It's staying right at 40 psi, so I don't know. It's not leaking up here. This seal's good, but I think it's just not enough cubic feet per minute to lift the water. So I don't know. It's getting really hot, so I might kill it and go get a bigger compressor with a tank. Hey everybody, we are here at the Twisted Garage, our new homestead location. I usually call them squat spots, but I come to realize people have a lot better connotations with the word homesteading, so maybe you might as well go with it. But we're popping our champagne, celebrating our first night here. Today we're just going to be sleeping in the tent here. Check out this super bright light I got for two for $5 on eBay, and it runs off 12 volts. It's LED. But yeah, it's exciting. We got the pop-up camper pulled in here. That was a little nerve-wracking because it doesn't have a license plate, and we couldn't get it to close, so we just towed it with it popped up. But it's only like a half mile or mile.
Is a picture of that.
And we'll cut to that now. So I was just thinking about how the first time you spend the night in a new spot, especially one where you're not supposed to be, it can be a little bit nerve-wracking. But I think we've kind of mediated that concern in the way that we slowly set up this spot incrementally and kept checking back for, what, over a month we've been coming by here, huh? And never really saw anything that would make us think it was dangerous to sleep here. So I guess that's why I feel pretty comfortable, and we're gonna sit back, watch some tunes, and go to sleep. First morning world. We just had our first night at the Twisted Garage. All was successful. No cops or FBI or ATF agents busted in to murder us, and a couple critters were running around, but they didn't bother us. And I'll take you on a little tour. So we brought the pop-up camper last night. Waited till it was dark and had Melissa trail since there's no license plate, but I think we're gonna put it right over there, possibly, to block off that hole and like connect it in a way where you can come into the house and then step up into the pop-up camper. I don't know, we'll see if that works or not. But got my IBC tote for water. We got that bathtub we found, and got lots of stuff. Got a trampoline. It's coming together, and we got the pop-up camper over here. So just stowed it over here for now down the street, but we'll attach it up to the house soon enough.
top window is gonna break. Hooray!
Look at our score. We're just exploring that abandoned house down the street from us, and my favorite stuff is all this little kid work. But we got some cups and a vase, and
We got
look,
language
we
arts
found out
today.
who it was. Language Arts Today. There are a few different names in there, but the latest date we saw was 2008, so it looks like it's been abandoned for at least 7 years. What's up, everybody? Sitting here at my homestead thinking about how Melissa and I started living in this place long before it was done. So it's coming along, right? But there's still holes in the wall. The windows aren't in yet. We're still in a tent. We're gonna have a bed eventually, and bathtub and toilet. It's gonna be a real nice place, but we could have never made this happen if we designed first and then started building. First off, it's way more expensive that way because we found all these materials. We've designed around what we had, not designed first and then go out and buy things that you want. And further, we didn't really know what we wanted when we started. Our design has shifted so much since we've started living here and continued building on it. And if we would have tried to design before we started living in it, the design would have been just totally backwards. We wouldn't have known what we wanted. So I really think that's a strategy people should try to employ more, is go there, start living, and then design, around what you discover. And start small and work your way up as you learn more about what you want. Place is coming along. We just cleared everything out so we can clean better and finish the floor. But this is the brand new addition. It's a pretty deep sink. Did it by attaching, mounted that, then just made a square and attached it to this table, and it's awesome. We also got our solar set up. So just started with the smallest one I could do, basically. It's a good value though, it's less than $1 per watt. So it's 80 watt panel, 18 amp hour, 12 volt battery. Got a 20 amp charger, which is real nice because it has 2 USB outputs too. So lets us charge our phones without even any special attachments. And that's it. Me and Melissa are headed back into the old Houston woods next to McGregor Park just to see what it's like. It's been about 2 years since we first moved in here, so we'll see what it looks like in a second. Coming up on the old squat. So far, looks like everything's the same. There's the trampoline, there's that bed frame I dug up. Here's our mailbox. Let's see if we got any mail. We never get any mail out here. Here's the old bulletin board. Oh man, we should take this chalk out of here.
Yeah.
This is an autonomous zone existing outside the supposed judicial authority of the US government. Here we are free. Look, my table's still here. That's a piece of sovereignty right there, my old sailboat. And that's a log I rolled halfway across this forest. Look, we got those crates, the trampoline's still there. Oh, there's that bench I made with just 2 cuts and 6 nails. That was pretty cool. Yep, looks like we could have lived here for 2+ years.
Get all these goodies I found. Duct tape, sourpuss,
Haha.
and a spoon that I need.
Here's Kevin's old squat. Probably gonna take that tarp, Kevin. Hey everybody, I'm out here at the homestead thinking about this idea of self-ownership and self-slavery, self-enslavement, and how a lot of people I know that I respect a lot base a lot of their philosophy on this idea of self-ownership. And they say that's what legitimizes the right to defend oneself, or to enforce a contract, or to carry out voluntary transactions, is this idea that I own myself, therefore I own the product of my labor, and therefore I can trade it, I can exchange it, and I get to control what happens with it. Now that's tricky because it confuses two distinct forms of the word ownership. One is I own the product of my labor, I'm responsible for stuff. And then it switches real quick over to this idea that I can sell it. But those are actually distinct uses of the same word. And I think it confuses a lot of people, or it confuses me. Because just because you're responsible for something doesn't mean you can sell it. And there's also this tricky part where they overlook the fact that I am a different person today than I was a year ago. So just because I did something a year ago doesn't mean it necessarily still belongs to me today. If I plant a garden and then I abandon it for a year, I don't think you can prevent somebody else from eating it just because you planted it. If you neglect something, it's up for fair game as far as I'm concerned. And that's why I don't feel at all like I'm doing something unethical living here at this place where I don't own the land legally, but practically I do. I'm the only one using it. Me and Melissa, the so-called legal landowner, abandoned it. So I don't see how they can have any right to it. And there I use this funny word right, which is almost as tricky as self-ownership. What does it mean to have a right to it? I don't know. It's a confusing word. So this is really a video I'm trying to excite some conversation and bring to light some of these points that are often overlooked within the freedom movement. So if you have ideas on what these words mean, how I might be misinterpreting them or misusing them, I would love to get a conversation going about self-ownership and rights. And do you think I'm doing anything wrong here, living in a place where I don't legally own the land? It's up for debate, I think. The other part of self-ownership that I wanted to touch on is this self-slavery that a lot of people I know seem to be imposing on themselves via kind of random arbitrary constraints that they restrict themselves, for instance, by their former contracts. So if I sign a contract 10 years ago, I don't believe I necessarily have to obey it today. If it's beneficial for both parties, then sure, why not? But if my younger self made a huge mistake, I don't have to stand by that. I'm a different person today. And a lot of people within the liberty movement have a very restrictive view on contracts. And so much so that they enslave their current selves based on the whims of their past selves. Where I think real true freedom, that's a silly phrase, but the freedom I love to experience is the moments of anarchy that come and go, and different people experience them. I'm a different person at every slice of time, and what I'm trying to do is add up the most moments of anarchy possible. And if I was to blindly obey every single thought, belief, contract, whatever that my former self bound himself by, then I wouldn't be free today.